Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Weather Report for February. Today is January the 31st, so I'm recording this on the last day of January. Uranus has finally gone direct and will be direct all the way through the next month, but it has been retrograde for quite some time, and I, for one, am happy to see the direct energy underway. So it feels like a good day to be talking about the weather report for going into February. Also, a couple of quick upfront mentions will include that Jupiter will be going direct on February the 5th. So that will give us everything direct except for Mars, which will not go direct until February the 24th. But then after the 24th, everything will be direct for a short period of time. And so it'll be an interesting transition month. But as always, I like to start out with the cosmic weathers here by talking about what's going to be the ingresses, which is when the points change signs and go into the next sign, retrogrades or retrograde going to direct, which also shifts energy, and we'll have, 2 points that will take care of that energy. And then talk about any type of aspect between the outer planets that would have an effect for all of us for a duration of time to be noticeable. Usually I start with the fastest of the moving planets I'll consider as Mars, going all the way out to Pluto. Anytime Mars forms a relationship with another planet, it takes about 5 days to complete that relationship. And so that's worth noting that that's enough time to maybe consider what might be going on that could affect all of us in a particular way. So to get started, we're going to have the ingress of the sun, which will happen on February the 18th, actually a little bit on the earlier side. And it's going to move from Aquarius and into Pisces, which means we're going to move from Aquarius's visionary, sort of innovative spirit to Pisces' much more intuitive and empathic energy. Aquarius inspires us to embrace our individuality, to explore new ideas, to focus on humanitarian efforts. With the sun in Pisces, the emphasis shifts to deeper emotional connections, spiritual growth, and creative expression. This transition will mark a time to tune in more to your inner world, cultivate your compassion, and to maybe even dream boldly in some way. So, this transition is wanting us to get into a much greater emotional depth, which will probably be something that we're processing as we're dealing with the transitions that any of us might be experiencing with regard to changes in the government or changes in world events that are having an impact on us and the people around us. Now, Mercury almost always ingresses once, at least sometimes twice in a month. It's only going to ingress once. It's going to move from Aquarius into Pisces. So that means that the Sun and Mercury will be in Pisces after the 18th. Now, the ingress of Mercury will take place on the 15th, so it'll get into Pisces just ahead of the Sun. And again, it's the same idea that the energy of our communication will move from Aquarian, energy of innovation and thoughts about community and our ideals are in many ways it is our idealistic thinking. And it's going to enter Pisces, which is going to be a bit more of a global consciousness and awareness of the people around us emotionally, heightens our empathy, heightens our sympathy, heightens our sensitivity. So we can expect that, from again, an emotional place, we're going to have a lot more energy that's connected with the sun and with Mercury affecting our individual charts. Now, Venus actually will start out the month of February in Pisces, and it will ingress into Aries fairly quickly. It will do so on February the 4th. So as Venus moves from Pisces to Aries, that energy is going to shift from Pisces emotional and compassionate nature to Aries bold and passionate drive. So Pisces fosters a deeper emotional connection in terms of Venus energy and spiritual understanding, but the Aries energy is going to turn to more of enthusiasm and assertiveness and even a desire for adventure in relationships. So this transition will invite you to embrace love with confidence and spontaneity, seeking exciting and fresh experiences while maintaining authenticity and passion. So, if there's a relationship that needs to end or you're seeking out a new relationship, the Aries energy will definitely give you the impetus to end something that isn't working, but also to pursue something new that could be exciting or, well, possibly even risky in some ways. Aries does love an adventure, that's for sure. Now, of course, you have to put this in the context of two other energies still being in Pisces, which is the Sun and Mercury. Now, Mars is going to still be in Cancer in retrograde. it actually went back into Cancer on January the 6th, and it's going to stay in Cancer for the entire month of February, but it will go direct on the 24th. Now, while it is retrograde, Mars can certainly feel emotional frustration and emotional dissatisfaction. Once it goes direct, the energy will be more aggressive. It will be more turned outward. But what we're going to continue to deal with is strong emotions, strong feelings about things. And we're not going to really get out of that energy for quite some time. In fact, it will still be all the way in Cancer all the way through the entire month of March. So we've still got this very aggressive emotional energy that we're having to deal with at this time on both a global level and a personal level. So if you're feeling emotionally tense and you're dealing with people who are emotionally tense, this energy is definitely going to be in effect for quite some time more. So it's worth noting to try our best to recognize when we are feeling our own strong emotions and frustration and how we're handling that, as well as how we're observing it in other people and how they're handling it. There will definitely be a lot of counting to 10 that would be useful. Maybe even counting to 20 would be helpful while this particular transit is ongoing. Now, as I mentioned, in terms of retrogrades, we're definitely dealing with Mars still retrograde in Cancer, and that means that our drive may feel hindered or misdirected, especially in areas related to home, family, and emotional security. Cancer is the feminine divine, it is the energy of one's emotional security. This period does encourage us to reflect on past experiences, past choices, reassess our emotional needs, and revisit old habits or unresolved issues. There's a lot of work that can be done while this Mars is in Cancer and it is retrograde. Once it does go direct, we'll feel a little bit more confident about expressing ourselves, maybe recognizing what it is we do need to share in terms of expressing our emotions directly and honestly. Now, Jupiter, went retrograde back on October the 10th, and it's been retrograde all the way through January. And for the first part of February until the 4th and 5th, it will go direct. Once it does go direct, we will be able to communicate more effectively and more expansively. But during this retrograde period, it has been about revisiting ideas and assessing what it is that we believe, how we communicate with others, what we want to communicate. So it was a time to deepen our intellectual growth and to find meaning in previously overlooked details. But once it goes direct, it's going to be about communicating, networking, spreading ideas, sharing what you want to share, and trying to find out as much as you can from a learning perspective, from a knowledge perspective, while it's still in Gemini, which it will be until June the 10th. Now, very quickly, I'm just going to recap the current positions of all of the major points on the outer rim, starting with Jupiter. Jupiter's in Gemini. It has been there since June the 10th. It will be there, and it's been there since May of last year, and it's going to be there until June the 10th of this year. And this just means a lot more mental activity, a lot more information flying around, trying to assess information, trying to figure out what all the information means. So it's definitely a period of intense just knowledge being delivered rapid fire very quickly. It can make it very difficult to kind of get a beat on things, but it also means a lot more information is getting out and spreading very quickly. So this also can indicate a rapid improvement or a rapid expansion of the energy of AI as it's being applied. We have Saturn, which has been in Pisces, and it's been there since March of 2023, and it will actually still be moving between Pisces and Aries this year, but it will be permanently out of Pisces on February the 13th, 2026. So this has been a period of also trying to keep our emotions managed in check while also dealing with Neptune being in Pisces, which also will end its time going into this year. It'll jump into Aries and bounce back, but it will be done in January of 2026, permanently in Aries. So for right now, the Piscean theme is going to stay very, very strong because now we're going to have Mercury And we're going to have the sun in Pisces along with Saturn and Neptune during this month. So there's still going to be just a tremendous amount of energy associated with our feelings and our emotions, sensitivities about the world around us, our own sensitivities about our own feelings, and the awareness of people. And everyone's going to be experiencing it. Now, Chiron has been in Aries since April of 2018. It's going to stay there until 2027. This is a lot of wounding and healing energy dealing with our independence. So some of you may be experiencing greater limits to your independence and having to figure out what independence means for you, what it means to be maverick or to have that energy where it is a wounding healing process for you. So this is particularly acute for the United States because where Chiron is positioned right now puts it on top of the US Chiron. So again, a lot of the things that are happening specifically in this country that are highly volatile and very much affecting everyone in an intense way or an emotional way, very much in alignment with the astrology that's going on, and really is not going to let up this year. It's going to probably get more intense, in fact. Now, Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. This is about the disruptions to the daily life, which again, we're continuing to see very much to be part of our experience. That will continue. That will continue all the way through till April of 2026. So again, we're not really going to escape any of the volatility. February is going to have a few things I think that are going to be positive directed energy. Certainly, Uranus getting back direct, Jupiter going direct, that's going to help. But overall, we're still going to be dealing with the Mars energy stuck in Cancer, and Mars really struggles in that particular sign. So we've got that to deal with as part of our journey. Neptune, as I said, will be in Pisces. Pluto is now permanently in Aquarius and will be really spending its first, its second full month in Aquarius. It went in November the 19th to Aquarius. So we're going to see a changing in the society. The changes in society are going to, and they're going to be pretty rapid. They're going to be pretty dramatic. I think we could take as an example numerous things. Certainly the wildfires out in California and the impact that's going to have. That's going to trickle down probably through insurance policies, actually. We're going to continue to see these radical shifts, these radical steps, and this energy is definitely going to mean that societies around the world are going to be changing in dramatic fashions, and it's going to be an ongoing process for the next 20 years. So, well, hopefully, once we get some of the outer planets and some different signs, we'll see a sense of direction. I think we'll see that once Neptune and Saturn actually reach Aries. So there will be some sense of where things are going that will start to be very directed and less ambiguous or less hard to pin down, which is what you get with anything moving through Pisces. So I think we can expect February to feel a little bit dreamy in a way, or a little bit hard to sort of get a handle on because of so much Piscean energy that will be in play. So, in terms of major planetary interactions that are going to happen in February, starting out with from February 1st to February the 7th. So, retrograde Mars in Cancer will square with retrograde Chiron in Aries, and that's already been in effect from January 26th to February the 11th. So, due to the retrograde energy, that Mars connection is going to last more than the 5 days. So, this will be a time to confront unresolved emotional wounds and patterns of defensiveness. Challenges may arise, pushing you to face vulnerability and explore sources of inner tension. Frustration can definitely surface, especially around self-expression and personal boundaries, but it does also offer an opportunity at some healing. By acknowledging and working through these struggles, you can cultivate greater self-awareness and emotional resilience, but it's going to come through difficulty. That's just the way these energies are set up. They're there to provide challenge that will help us grow or will certainly make us feel angry or frustrated. So realize that this energy is affecting us all, and wherever you can pull up patience for yourself or patience for other people, it will definitely be needed in this first week and 11 days of February. Now, Mars is also going to be trining, the retrograde Mars will be trining with Saturn in Pisces, and that's going to be a collaborative effect, thankfully. And that's going to happen from, excuse me, that's going to happen from January 31st to February the 14th. So alongside the challenging energy, there's going to be this flowing energy. And this actually supports disciplined emotional reflection and steady progress towards long-term goals. So at one and the same time where daily interactions may be frustrating, there is the underlying current of what it is that we want and how do we actually make it happen in a world that is very hard to pin down, especially with the Neptune and Pisces running alongside out, well, actually out in front of Saturn and Pisces in terms of degrees. But this is a time to work on inner balance and sensitivity, enabling you to tackle challenges with more patience and determination. I think it's going to require more determination. Patience is definitely a part of it, but determination is going to be key. You may feel empowered to revisit some past efforts and to strengthen certain foundations in your life. And this alignment does encourage thoughtful action and emotional maturity, showing you a way to build resilience. So there is a parallel current that is, again, asking us to find emotional fortitude while we're also facing emotional difficulty. Now, the next week, February 8th to the 15th, that's those two that I've just described, they'll still be in effect. Actually, from December 16th to December, I'm sorry, no, from February 16th to February 23rd, there's going to be no major interactions. None of the outer points are in a particular aspect. Now, on the 24th, as I said, Mars will go direct, and that will be a key moment in terms of shifting energy. And that will be important for us to begin really feeling how we're going to direct our emotions in a way that will get us the results that we want. Now, finally, in that last week, Saturn in Pisces will sextile with Uranus and Taurus, and that's going to be a very long-lasting energy. That's going to run from February the 28th all the way until April the 30th. So it's going to kick in at the very end of the month, but it is going to last all the way through March and all the way through April. Now, this sextile does present some very positive energy. The energy of Saturn and Uranus will bring a blend of discipline and innovation. So we can expect probably a lot of very rapid change to occur. And some of that will probably be beneficial to some groups and not so beneficial to other groups, but it will move along very, very quickly. So Saturn's energy in intuitive Pisces does try to harmonize with Uranus's drive for change in the grounded energy of Taurus. So it's going to encourage the reshaping of outdated systems. So we can expect that the energy to bring about change, especially at the level that we're seeing politically, will be reinforced. The changes will be able to move through probably fairly rapidly. In fact, what may be even more the challenge is that they'll move through rapidly and their impact or understanding what they're going to actually have as repercussions will not be fully understood and they will show up much later. Hopefully, they will be positive, but they could be potentially negative. But the ability to implement and to get things moving, this energy is going to give that plenty of impetus. And that will apply to our personal lives as well. So if there's something that you need to do in terms of moving your energy or getting something accomplished or uh, purchasing a home or trying to make a change in your job or trying to move something along in a relationship, this energy will help implement and move that energy along. And you can take advantage of it. It will kick in at the end of the month. And like I said, it will run through March and April. So there is an opportunity to really get some value out of it. Now, here at the end, I do want to mention that this is probably going to be a very challenging year. Not the years since 2020 haven't been. My position is that this challenging energy is good to go all the way until 2030. But my sense of it and what I am offering as my sort of overall view of 2025 is that it will be a year of reckonings with a plural. There are going to be a number of things that come to reckoning during this period of time. And I think we'll see a lot of that show up in very clear ways by the middle of the year when we see Neptune and Saturn start hitting Aries. And the reason I say that is because we've got a lot of energy that is affecting dramatic change that's certainly happening astrologically that is then being backed up by what's showing up in the world around us. Some of that will be implemented by decisions of leaders or decisions of individuals. Some of it's going to be what nature decides to do. And some of those repercussions are going to then have a further impact. So, what I offer we'll be offering probably at the end of every video or any work I do for anyone individually is to really recognize that it's important to do the best you can to figure out how to take care of yourself. That storms are certainly going to be multiple this year, how to weather those storms, where you are, how you're doing financially. All of these things are going to be very much front and center and are going to be the things that need to be addressed on an ongoing basis throughout this year because there is so much volatility still in play, still yet to be resolved. Some of it I think we'll begin to see a direction that's much clearer, but not so much until 2026. And again, it may not be a direction that everyone appreciates, but we've had so much sort of chaos, and this will be another year of chaos, without a doubt, that we're going to have to navigate. So, being aware of that and understanding these transits, what I do think is if you can take advantage of this last transit that kicks in at the end of February, that it would be advantageous, but it has to be very clear about what directions you want because these energies will help them come to fruition. So, again, I appreciate everyone that checks out the videos. And if you want to find out more about me, you can do so on my website. It is www.blackunicorn, spelled UNYKORN.com. And I'm happy to help anyone that may need my services. And I hope that you find these videos to be useful in understanding that there is a lot in the weather report that has to do with dealing with some disruption that is going to be ongoing that really did get started back all the way in 2020, and we're still kind of muddling through, if you will. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of the day whenever you've got a chance to watch this, and if you feel like this could be helpful to someone else, please do share it with them. Thank you.